A year has flown past, just 27 days to go, and poof, this year becomes a memory, a past. Many good things and learning incidents have happened in our lives. Out of this, I wanted to reflect on one aspect which is very dear to us: success. We all want it, don't we? Resolutions, goals, goal sheets, action plan, dream book. We do all these things to gain success. And most of the time, success amounts to becoming rich, richer, richest, financially, I mean. Nothing wrong about it. Some of us have experienced success in various ways now and then. Some of us more, some less in our lives, haven't we? Before I go further, last meeting we had a joint meeting with Bombay Toastmasters, and it was a milestone meeting. Cross fingers, we will have many more of them. For the benefit of new members, this platform, the Elite Advanced Toastmasters meeting, is different from our regular meetings. Apart from the regular roles that we play in a Toastmasters meeting, we have the additional roles like the lead evaluator, the content and the delivery evaluators, the table topic evaluators, who will give us their keen feedback to take our communication and presentation levels to the next level. I don't see any guests today, so we will leave that part. I was trying to define success. And when I was doing this, I realized that the definition of success has changed. Earlier, success meant winning, position, power, money, and so on. Now, for many of us, health is important, peace is important, family and family time is important. Living in the moment and in the present, that is, in the present, is important. So, yes, the definition of success has changed, and it has changed for the better. Now the outlook is more like money is important, happiness is also important. Why can't we have both in balance? And that is success. Suddenly, more than only money and being in the rat race, happiness and joy has started to trend. I personally am happy about this. I'm also happy to see that our Toastmaster of the day shares a similar outlook. A very passionate Toastmaster since 2009. He believes in a continuous and consistent learning and considers himself a student of life. An HR professional, he also owns, owns the feathers of being a marathon runner and a football enthusiast. When I asked him what success meant to him, Pat came the reply: being happy, being peaceful. So, ladies and gentlemen, our enigmatic host for today, Toastmaster Falgunan Kumaran.
Thank you, presiding officer, for this wonderful address. You gave a positive stroke to me, and I really loved hearing that. What does that mean? Yes, that is the theme for today's meeting: strokes that we get in life. This is a theory coined by Dr. Eric Berne. There's a famous concept called transactional analysis. Let me tell in simple words what this is as we go ahead. If you're looking at someone and smiling, if you're responding to someone who has said something, there is an acknowledgement happening. There is a recognition of that event happening. There is a stroke getting exchanged. Stroke is said to be life. It's so important in life. And how this all came about, there was one experiment done. After the World War II, there were many children, in fact, infants who had become orphans. What they did, that a set of students, a set of infants were kept in one room, and in that room only they were given the milk. The nurse used to come and give the milk. In the other room, where the other set of infants were kept, there the nurse came, picked up the child, cuddled, loved, and then gave the milk. And this went on for over 6 months. What was observed is the infants who just got the milk, they had still become weak. They had got that required food, but they had become weak, and the spine had in fact shriveled. Whereas the other set of infants who were picked up in the arms, loved, and then given the milk, they had grown healthy, yeah, and were growing like anything. That's where it was said that stroke is a biological necessity. Let me share about what are the various types of strokes that we can get in life. Do I have the screen sharing right? So stroke can be verbal, non-verbal, or physical. Let me share a few examples of that.
Screen sharing should be enabled.
Thank you. Is my screen visible?
Yes, it is.
Yes. So as you see, physical, a touch, a pat on the back is a positive stroke. If you beat someone, that's also physical, but that's a negative stroke. Yeah. Shake hands, positive, kicking, negative, that's a physical part. Then come to verbal, you're praising something, even an introduction that you're praising and saying positively, it's a positive stroke given. Greeting someone, good evening, good morning. All these things we do in our daily lives, but unconsciously. But there is a lot of significance to the deeper meaning of the impact of stroke, as I told, right from the childhood. And the non-verbal smile. If you're passing by someone, when you smile, there's a stroke exchanged. If it's a ignore, then it's no stroke is given. You know, listening to someone, that's also a stroke. Yeah. And all of us, when we are small kids, we have more of a need of a physical stroke that is being touched by the parents and all loved. And as we grow, it moves more into the verbal, non-verbal, and the physical part is only from our near and dear ones. And okay, let me unshare it. What's the relevance of this positive and negative stroke? When you give a positive stroke, you get energized. You'll feel good about it. Your body energy level will increase. But when it's a negative stroke being given, you lose the energy from yourself. Yeah. We can try this experiment with anyone. You can try this experiment with anyone. Like we do positive feedback, positive, good things we say, and there's a critique which is given. So that impacts. Okay. But it's all with awareness and maturity that we need to handle the situations. And we have a choice to accept strokes and reject strokes. With this brief introduction about the theme, let us move to the meeting. Thank you, Sapna, for giving me that stroke by clapping. Yes, that's a stroke. And that encourages as a speaker. Yeah. Thank you. Sorry, everyone. Okay. So we do this intentionally, unintentionally, but it's a stroke being given. So that's why it's very much important and relevant in each one's life. We start with the prepared speeches round. I'm not going to explain the three parts of the meeting that is there. We'll directly jump into prepared speech. And the first speaker is being evaluated by the lead coach, Toastmaster Kunal Jani. And before that, let me also share there are three main role players who would be supporting me. Thanks, Kunal. You raised your hand. I was wondering, why did you raise? And that struck me. Thanks. Let me call upon someone who's very simple, humble, and a Toastmaster from over 6 years, who was kind enough to share the word of the day in advance, in the members group. So put your hands together to welcome Toastmaster Sachin Thuraskar as a language evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Falgunan, for your kind words. Word of the day is propensity. Meaning of the word: an inclination or natural tendency to behave in a particular way. Usage of the word: tall tale participants have a propensity to exaggerate. So as a language evaluator, it's my duty to record all good usages and not so good usage just of the English language. And at the end of the meeting, as and when called upon, I will give my report. So over to you, Toastmaster of the day, Falgun.
Thank you, Grammarian. All human beings have a natural propensity to listen good things about themselves. Yeah. And they reject a lot of times negative things about themselves. Yeah. Let us now welcome the next role player who is going to catch even every single, like I said once, and keep a track of each and everything that we speak in the meeting. An entrepreneur by profession and a leader of a club. Please welcome Toastmaster Nirmala Menon.
Thank you, Toastmaster Falgunan. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. As an R counter, I will note words and sounds that are used as scratch or pause filler by anyone who speaks during the meeting. I will listen for overused words, including and, well, but, so, and you know. I will also listen for filler words and sounds, including and I will also note when a speaker repeats a word or phrase such as I, or this means, or very, very, which is very common. At the end of the meeting, I will report the number of times that each speaker used these expressions. Over to you, Toastmaster Falgun.
Thank you. Thank you, our counter, Nirmala Menon. We now move to the most important person of our meeting who has to see that the meeting goes in a timely manner. Someone who's very dedicated, I feel, and even being overseas, so far away from us, still connects and takes part in every meeting and sees that the meeting happens with all the role players there. Please welcome Toastmaster Kunal Jani as a timer for the day.
Thank you so much, Falgunan. Yeah, it's a pleasure for me to be a part of this elite club and to listen to all of you. I missed the Mumbai convention, and I was feeling so horrible that I couldn't be and meet with you guys. But anyways, moving on, I am the timer for this meeting number 18 of All Elite Advanced Toastmasters Club, and it is my duty to make sure that all the speakers and all the role players and the meeting is running on time like clockwork. So I will be it is my propensity to be pointing out the time throughout the meeting that we are on time or late. But at the same time, I'll be, for the speakers, prepared speeches, I will be timing the speakers. The timing for both the speakers are 5 to 7 minutes. I'll be timing my, displaying a green card at the end of 5 minutes, a yellow card at the end of 6 minutes, and a red card at the end of 7 minutes. And I will be sharing my report as and when called upon by the Toastmasters of the day. Over to you, Falguna.
Thank you, timer Kunal. Let me come back to strokes. As you would be seeing, I'm giving a lot of strokes and a lot of positive strokes as I'm introducing and inviting each and every person. And you might be feeling the difference. If you really see, you get energized in the process. Now, there are different categories of strokes, and one of the strokes is the first type, which I'm going to say is positive conditional stroke. Okay, so that's based on what you do. That's your performance. It is used in our daily corporate life or professional life, anywhere. When we do good things, we are appreciated. Yeah. So fabulous, Kunal, that you prepared the agenda for the day and released it in a timely manner. Okay. That's a positive conditional stroke, the condition being releasing the agenda before the meeting. And let me invite Kunal in that note as the lead coach for our first speaker to share the speech objectives.
Thank you so much, Falguna. I'll be the lead coach for our speaker number 1, Sapna Ori. And with me, I have content coach Akshay and delivery coach Nirmala, who will be looking over their respective parts. Sapna is giving her level 1 project 2, speech 2 of the evaluation and feedback project. Her path is leadership development, and she has shared with us the feedback she received from her first speech. on which we'll be working, and we'll be giving her an evaluation when called upon by the general evaluator. I wish you all the best, Sapna. Her timing is 5 to 7 minutes. Over to you, Falguna.
Thank you, lead coach Toastmaster Kunal Jani. Now the first speaker is someone who is the current program quality director of District 98. And believe me, the humble nature that she displays, it's fabulous. It's always said that when the tree grows, the branches bend down. And that's what this Toastmaster displays day in, day out. It's a pleasure interacting with her, and meeting her is a fabulous experience. At least whenever I have met her, I've left with happy memories. So that's what this Toastmaster brings to in anyone's life, at least my life when I've met her. With that note, let us welcome distinguished Toastmaster Sapna Ori. Always do what you are afraid to do. Always do what you're afraid to do. Distinguished Toastmaster Sapna Ori.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day. Always do what you're afraid to do. This is a quote that I read from Ralph Waldo Emerson. Have you ever been afraid of ghosts? Did you ever feel that someone was walking behind you when you were walking alone? Have you ever ran to your room after switching the light in the hall? And did you ever have sleepless nights after watching a horror show? If answer to all those questions is yes, we all sailed in the same boat when we were young. As a young girl, I always used to be scared of ghosts. I used to be scared of darkness, of horror movies. I used to have those scary dreams wherein I used to always see that a ghost is running behind me and he's killing me at the end. Well, it was all in dreams, because in real, I am still alive and kicking right in front of you. Because of all of this, and because I was such a scared child, my family always used to think when she'll grow up, she'll be a meek person who will get scared on every small thing, and probably she'll never be able to make anything out of her life. And for the longest period of my life, I thought the same. But they say life has always planned something else for you. I still remember that fateful day of December 12th, 2005, when the demise of my father shattered our world. My entire world came crashing down. My mother, whom I had seen as being the strongest woman around, was shattered. Her constant worry was financial stability, as there was no other earning member in the house. During that time, I remember I was pursuing my UGC examination, and I was just due to give my exam within that week of my father passing away. I couldn't sit for the exam, and I just dropped that dream of mine of even going ahead for further studies and being a teacher. Well, one day I got a call from my best friend in Chandigarh, and she said, just come down and go and give this interview for Dell International Services. It's a BPO. Just go and sit for the interview. I still remember it was a Thursday. The very next day was a Friday. I traveled from Amritsar to Mohali. It used to be a 6 hours journey then. And this was the first time I was ever traveling alone on my own. The first time I had gone to Chandigarh was with my dad. This was the second time I was traveling, but I was alone this time. Well, I went there. And as they say, right, when things have to happen, the entire universe is going to conspire for you. I met some of my school juniors who helped me pushed my resume through for the interview, and I landed at Dell. That was the first time I ever saw an MNC. The big blue building, I still remember. I went there, went through multiple rounds of interview. And the entire Friday from 9 o'clock that I reached, I remember, till 8 o'clock in the evening just passed by. And then the HR person came to me and said that you come back on a Monday. I had those 2 days gap in between. I called my mother, and as mothers are always pretty scared all the time, she asked me to come back home. She said, I'm not very sure if you'll even crack the interview on Monday. And during that time, the only source of income in the house was I was taking tuitions. And she was scared that if I do not come during that weekend, I might lose out on the money that I was supposed to earn. The first time ever in my life, I think I ever took a decision was on that day when I told my mother that, don't worry, I want to stay back. I want to give this thing a shot and let me just see what happens on Monday. I was shit scared myself because someone who's never taken a decision in her life wanted to risk the only source of income and stay back. Well, on a Monday, I went back to Dell. I sat there again for 6 hours, I still remember. And finally, my last one round of interview happened for like 5 minutes and I got my offer letter. I came back home. Now, after this, there was another struggle which started. I was someone who's never stayed alone. I being the youngest child and pampered at home, my parents have never even let me go out on a vacation on my own. The only time I ever stepped out of my house without my parents was when I was in my 8th standard and I went on a week's trip for an NCC camp. Now, this was big. I was 23. I packed my bags and I went to Mohali, found a place to stay on rent, started to stay alone, working night shifts, cooking my own food, washing my own clothes, destroying a lot of my clothes in between in that entire process, trying to carve an identity for myself, trying to create a space for myself, trying to get over my fears of whom am I meeting, how the people are going to treat me, understanding the environment of office, how really a professional life works. I did all of that. When I look back today, it was not easy and it is still not easy for me. But I guess the circumstances helped me to come up and learn everything that whatever I have learned in 15 years of my professional experience till date. At that point of time, I never realized that how life was helping me to overcome my fears. There is always a point we all hear people talk about, right? There's a point that's going to come in your life when life is going to turn around and help you to learn. What I have learned today is that I have overcome my fear of being alone. I am independent. I have overcome my fear of not knowing how to cook or wash my clothes. I can do that today. I have overcome that fear of being a meek person. I have become that confident person who has a voice, who can speak and who can present her point of view to people. I have overcome that fear of losing everything and still getting up and saying, no matter what happens, I have my 2 hands, my 2 legs. I can still get up and I can start from scratch and I'm not scared about it. And that is why I always come back and say that do always what you're afraid to do the most. I was afraid to be myself. And today I'm happy that I've overcome that fear of being myself. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Wonderful, wonderful. Request everyone to give a big round of applause to distinguished Toastmaster